What do you envision happening this time? I'm assuming you're going to suggest that we are going to have a very another close election. And how?
So I follow mainly right-wing accounts on Twitter, and there was a great deal of rejoicing by one poll result that showed Donald Trump with a national lead of 1 percentage point today. But the polls are steadily moving even more overall in Kamala Harris's direction. So I think the Real Clear Politics average right now is 3.3 percentage points for Kamala Harris. So it was kind of pathetic seeing all these right-wingers celebrating the one poll result that showed Donald Trump in the lead, when the overwhelming majority of polls are steadily moving more and more and more, including today, more and more and more in Kamala Harris's direction.
Concerned are you about disputes over its legitimacy?
Oh, I'm very concerned. I do think, unless something startling happens, it will be another close election. We know from our polling data that 60% of Democrats still believe Hillary Clinton was the legitimate winner in 2016. We know that 65% of Republicans still believe that Donald Trump was the legitimate winner in 2020. And so if this election is close, the only safe prediction is the losing team is going to feel that they were robbed, that the winner is not legitimate. This is a big concern. We've had 9 elections in a row where nobody has won more than 53% of the vote. 1984 was the last real landslide we had in America. And in that year, to the point you mentioned earlier, nobody said Walter Mondale could have won if he'd gone to Wyoming or Wisconsin.
Okay, comment in the chat. How can either side trust the results the same way that you trust anything else in life, right? You look at the evidence, right? How many people have been prosecuted for voter fraud? What is the evidence for voter fraud? And you don't just go by some videos where people take a box and you don't quite understand what's going on. So you immediately jump to the conclusion that there's voter fraud. There are people who devote their lives to analyzing elections and detecting things like voter fraud. And so you look at the evidence that they present, and then you look at the contrary evidence, and you make a decision, right? Who's got a more convincing case?
Somewhere else, because he lost 49 states. That's an important part of the election process. It's not just picking the winner. It's adding legitimacy to the government itself. And you have that when you have a landslide. Landslides were very common up until 1972. And since then, the only real landslide we've had was 1984. We need that to purge the system. It's not going to happen this year.
Oh, well, that's demoralizing.